Hey everyone, it's Delon Dixon from Think Technologies, and we're back here today to talk about our AI and legal practice series. For this example, we're going to jump into drafting legal documents. This is one of the most common use cases that a lot of lawyers are using, and this is one way that you can really quickly save time. So let's jump into it. Imagine that a lawyer needs to prepare a formal legal notice based on information provided by a client. Instead of starting from scratch, they can actually start with a cool guide from ChatGPT, and it makes it way easier than starting with a blank page. So, for example, the lawyer can use ChatGPT to structure the initial draft, and then they can input information from their client or other details, maybe from a meeting recording, or maybe they have from a form input or anything like that. They can add that information in there after they already drafted the template to get the final document, obviously, once they approve. So let me share my screen and let's get started. 1 second. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually put in the prompt in here. So what you're looking at right now is what ChatGPT Business looks like. So we'll start off by putting in the prompt, and I can just paste that prompt in there right now. So what this is going to give us a breakdown of is what the goal is, what the AI needs to do, and then giving it a ton of context. So notice that the prompt clearly defines the AI's role in the context and the objective and the limits. It also instructs the system not to invent facts and to mark missing information. And this type of use can save time in creating initial drafts while lawyers remain responsible for legal review, legal accuracy, strategy, and the final version. And this is really helpful because AI can also adjust the tone for the document if needed. And I'll show you an example of that shortly. So let's select a mode. For this example, I like to put it in thinking. I feel like I usually get the best results with that. Instant's helpful for like quick things like writing an email, but thinking usually is fast and efficient enough to get the job done when creating documentation. So then I'll just send this prompt and we'll have it load. You can see it's populating the first draft document, putting in all the brackets of the information that's needed. And we have this template ready to go right here. And say, for example, maybe we don't like the tone of it. We can actually submit a prompt to modify the tone if we don't think it's good enough. So maybe I want to make it more aggressive, like maybe have a more assertive tone, not aggressive. we're not angry over here, but sometimes you got to be more assertive in this profession. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that and hadn't done it before. So what I'm putting in here is another prompt to say, rewrite this in a more assertive tone while maintaining ethical, professional language appropriate for communication between lawyer and parties. And then I'll enter that. And then now it'll rewrite this exact document draft and in a more assertive manner. And you can see that in here in the text. And so now that we have the template ready to go, I like this template. I think it's good enough. Now I'm going to populate my client's information. And so this could be the information I referenced earlier that could potentially come from a meeting you had with the client. Maybe you're recording your meetings, so you have meeting notes, and it has all the information needed for that. Or maybe they submitted a form for this specific issue, and you have all the results there. So anyways, I have some sample data. I'll show you guys a quick example of this. It's just like some of the sample data for this exact output that we want to make it easier for you to understand like what the final product would look like. But this is something that you could set up like via Google form to help you with your automation. So maybe whenever you get a new client, you have them fill out all this information. You can do it even when you guys are in person together. It just makes it easier to track what you're doing and have automation set up within your workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'll download this file. So I'll download this as a PDF. You can download it as a PDF or you can copy and paste, but I just want to show you the example of how well this works out. So now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and share this tab instead. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload that document we just downloaded, sample client data, drop it in here, and then let that load. And now I'm going to say, fill in the draft with the info from the PDF. And simple enter that. And now what it's going to do, it's going to take the sample template that we created, and then it's going to populate that with all the information from the sample client demo draft. And so now we have a great draft that is likely ready to go. I just had to review it, putting my lawyer hat on, attorney hat on, and making sure that everything is sound and good to send off, and I can send it here. Or say maybe I want to make this a little bit cleaner. There's another way I could add in here an initial prompt to say, maybe can you turn this into a PDF with formatting and a clean design? And that makes it, just gives it a little bit more of a special touch when you're sending this off, and makes it look a little more official. So I can just drop that prompt in here. Can you turn this into a PDF with a clean design and formatting? And I'm going to leave it on thinking still, and then create. And we'll give this some time to load. And what's really helpful too is, like, while this is building out, it's just really important to talk about how useful this can be. Just because many times, like, the only challenge is not just like writing the document, but it's also adjusting the message to the strategy of the case. And not only like does that help expedite that process, but it also results in your clients being more satisfied with the services that you provide, and it's easier to tailor your work closer to your client's needs and give it that personal touch in an efficient and effective manner. And so while this is building this out, I'm not going to wait the whole time I downloaded earlier. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to create the PDF, but I do think it's a clean touch. But I'm actually going to show you an example of what that output looks like. So let me share in this tab instead. So this is generated directly from ChatGPT. You can see all of the client information is based on the demo work we put in there. Has a very similar format to what we set up at first. And you have this clean output that you could easily send out as a PDF. And you're serving up the formal notice. So this is just an example of how you can leverage ChatGPT Business to help out with drafting legal notices. And this wraps up our first use case for our AI in legal training and work series. And I'm looking forward for you guys to be a part of the next video. Our next topic we're actually going to focus on is related to contract analysis. So I'll see you then, and thank you all for joining.